Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the DRF Bets race of the day for Thursday, April the 19th, race number 5 at Keeneland. We're going 5.5 furlongs on the turf, and if you sign up for a new DRF Bets account, you can bet this Keeneland card with your new $150 sign-up bonus. Just go to drf.com/join and type in the promo code TV150. Let's take a look at this field of older turf sprinters. Get ready to go 5.5 furlongs on the grass. You can access free Formulator past performances at the Race of the Day event page on drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We're going to take the field in post position order. Matt, the number 1 Red Clay Magic is bred to run about 6 miles, yet has never stretched out past 6.5 furlongs and is now cutting back to 5.5 for his turf debut.
Yeah, a little bit of a curious situation here. Like you say, the pedigree would suggest long, long, long. Instead, we've been getting short, 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 and even shorter now, going 5.5 on the turf. It's also a little bit peculiar from pedigree standpoint. Drosselmeyer's 2 for 66 with the first-time turf runners. This one's a half to a horse called Spy in the Sky, who's 7 for 61 on turf. But I don't know. I suppose, to me, this is just kind of taking a stab to see if this horse can stand up on turf.
I think that's a fair point. You mentioned Drosselmeyer, not very good first-time turf. The Dam was a listed stakes winner in England at 1.25 miles. You mentioned Spy in the Sky, who also did very well going even longer distances at steeplechase racing. A couple of other black-type placed runners overseas. We'll see what we get from Red Clay Magic, at least in sharp form off a win at Oaklawn. The 2 is Mutation. Mutation going dirt to turf. This horse hasn't had much of a chance to step on the turf. Has done okay on the surface. Does have some good speed. Not sure if he has kind of the classy speed as some of the others in here. 2 back at Turfway, though. I'm not going to hold that race against him. That was a very fast pace he was on.
Yeah, it seems like that's been a common theme in these recent starts for this horse. Been close to very, very hot paces. Pays the price late. It'll be interesting to see what we get. Like you say, another horse. Seems like we've seen a lot of these horses that they don't get to run on the turf very often, but when they do, they actually give a good account of themselves. 1 for 3 lifetime on that surface, 3 for 7 lifetime on synthetic. Mutation, I think, is an interesting horse, but I agree. I do wonder about the class situation. Do you have the kind of speed that really fits at this level, or are you better off at a little bit lesser, a little bit weaker company and trying to wire fields?
I'm a little surprised that the 3 Westwoods Wizard is turning all the way back from 1 1/16. I mean, heck, let's go back to last summer at Del Mar going 1 mile, and I know he got a great pace situation. They were flying up front. He sat near the back of the pack and then came and finished it off. But he returned going 2 turns at the fairgrounds with a really game performance against entry-level non-winners and one other then. Are you worried that cutting back 3 furlongs, he could be outrun early?
Yeah, this is a serious turn back. We always talk about how we like turn backs, maybe going from 1 mile to 7. Going from 1 1/16 to 5.5, we're talking an entirely different ball game. I suppose the good news is it looks like there should be a fair pace signed on, but still, this horse is going to have a serious finish if he's going to get up in time.
I think the speed in here has to be the 4. What's on the agenda? And we'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector to see if our friends at Timeform US agree. They do. They have the 2 and the 1 out there as well. But what's on the agenda? The last time he set foot on the turf, he was kind of a runoff going down the hill at 6.5. I mean, he just opened up this big lead, and he was still plugging away till about the 8th pole, and then he felt the pace and the layoff. They ran him on dirt last time out. I guess he's okay on dirt. I like him better on turf, and boy, there are worse places to be than up front turning into the stretch of a turf sprint.
I think the other thing, too, you bring up those runs at Santa Anita. They were good considering the pace and necessarily coming off the layoff. 6.5, now getting back to 5.5. I think that's going to be really a major benefit for this horse. If you think there's anyone that can wire this field, I think it's this horse.
That's the distance of his last win, 5.5 furlongs on the dirt, so he could be very tough to catch. Who knows what we'll get from the 5 Turbo S for trainer Joe Sharp. This horse looked good, I thought, winning on dirt first time out. They wanted to run him on the turf last time, and he threw a little bit of a fit coming out of the gate. What are we going to get from him on Thursday?
Your guess is as good as mine, but I guess I'm kind of looking at it saying he's, again, the fresh face where you don't know what you're going to get. That debut I thought was good. He's taken money in both of the lifetime starts. He was bet to 5-1 in the debut, 4-1 in the second start. Threw a fit, lost the rider, draw a line through it. I'm approaching this as his first time start on turf. Medaglia d'Oro about 10% with the first time turf runners on the Dam side. There were a few turf winners, I should say. Look, if you think he can improve off that career debut, Yeah, I think he's got a puncher's chance.
I wonder if the 6 Romeo is just dirtied up. He was a pretty decent 2-year-old on synthetic and turf. He was in against Well-Abled, who was just sort of the king of the synthetic 2-year-olds in 2016. And then he missed most of 2017 running on dirt. He wintered at Oaklawn, so he never got a chance to run on the turf in his 2 starts this year. It appears Brian Williamson at least has him healthy. It's his 3rd race now without another layoff line, and his only run on turf to date was the Cup and Saucer back in 2016, where he was up close to a fast pace, and he ran okay. It was his career best Beyer by a long way. I'm not sure 5.5 is what he wants, but I think he's a turf horse.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think you bring up that big piece about the pace being as hot as it was in that mile and 16th race, and he was still around at the end of it. I agree, 5.5 might be a little bit on the sharp side, but it seems like turf. Another horse. Why is it taking so long to get back to the grass when he's got a little bit of pedigree for that on the bottom side, and he's run well enough on it in the past? I'm not sure why it's been this long to get back to it, but I think he's another one, an interesting one. Again, going to need some pace to run it, though.
Another horse that's going to need some pace. Another horse making his 3rd start of the form cycle is the number 7 Hollow Point. He got a little bit of pace. It appeared last time out at the fairgrounds. He altered widest turning into the stretch. He picked up a couple of pieces late. This is a horse that doesn't have any early speed, so he is going to need a supersonic pace. I think he has run well on occasion. The question is price. I mean, if you're going to get 3 to 1 on him, I'm not sure that's a great price. But Hollow Point is a horse that probably will be running late and probably will make his presence felt.
He's the kind of horse that it seems like he's really appreciated this turn back to 5.5. It's not that he was totally overmatched going longer, but he was certainly a notch below what he's done in those 2 races at the fairgrounds this winter. I agree. If the pace heats up, he certainly has a big chance. And I think he's going to float off the 3 to 1. I'd be surprised if he went off there. I think he's going to be in that 4.5, 5 to 1 range. And at that point, he's very interesting.
Wesley Ward sends out the 8 Ventry Bay off a little bit of a layoff. And this is another horse that benefited from a turn back in distance last fall. Last time out, I think Johnny V was just a little bit too conservative with him coming out of the gate. And he ended up kind of setting a rated pace with a hopeless long shot to his inside. He eventually put that horse away. And then the odds-on chalk came and got him in the stretch. The problem was he did everything backwards from a mechanic standpoint, and they preceded a layoff. So I wonder if there were some physical problems over the winter for Ventry Bay, who I think will be more aggressively ridden off the layoff this time around.
Certainly something that you have to factor in. You've been gone for a long time. There's a reason we haven't seen this horse since October of last year. But I suppose the good news is, and I know it was a much smaller, much shorter layoff, last time he came off of a little bit of a layoff, he fired fresh up at Saratoga and got the job done. So if maybe you want to use that and look at that and say he should be ready to go here, if he runs one of his last 3 races, he's a major player. And like you say, let's be more forwardly, more aggressively ridden.
Let's take a look at our top selections for race number 5 at Keeneland, our Thursday DRF Bets race of the day. If Turbo S keeps the jockey on, he should be a factor. That's your opinion in this race. And listen, I liked his dirt start a lot. He's got a big pedigree, good connections, lots to like. And you know, folks might look at that last race, say this horse is nuts. 5 to 1 on the morning line's fair.
Yeah, I would take 5 to 1. I might even take a little bit less than that. Might take that 4-9 to 2 range. And like you say, he ran well enough in that debut. Maybe he's better on turf. Maybe he's not. We'll find out here, hopefully. Fingers crossed if he does what he's supposed to do on Thursday. But I just kind of feel like he's an unknown in this spot. And if the pace does heat up, he should be able to sit off, maybe come with a run.
Give me some numbers.
We're going to go 5-8-7 in this spot.
Again, we're kicking off a 50-cent pick fever here in race number fever at Keeneland on Thursday. I wish Hollow Point had a little bit more early speed. I wish I had a stronger opinion on this race. I need a supersonic pace, but I'm hoping if the left doesn't get you the right will, Hollow Point from off the pace. I'll also be using who I think's the speed of the speed. The 4 What's on the Agenda, who might be able to take this gate to wire, cutting back to 5.5. I'm going 7, 4, 8, and 3 in the 5th at Keeneland on Thursday, kicking off that 50-cent pick 5. If you want to play the pick 5 from home, you can do it with a $150 sign-up bonus. It's very, very easy. Go to drf.com/join, sign up for a new DRF Bets account, use the promo code TV150 and start punching away. Approximate post time for the 5th at Keeneland on Thursday, 3:18 Eastern. Good luck.